are live, but you guys know the drill by now. We've got to let this stream breathe for just a second here and make sure that everything is nice and stable all across the YouTube platform. We're trying something a little different here for the post game. We were having some issues with StreamYard, so we're just going to eliminate that from the equation and stream directly off YouTube on our phones. So welcome in Broncos country. We're just going to go ahead and wait for some people to start streaming in here. I'm going to go ahead and pull up the stats for this game while we go ahead and do that. Obviously, an incredible signature win for the Denver Broncos. Huge game. They were able to prevail against the odds being stacked against them, quite frankly. I mean, they were down by 14 in the fourth quarter, and the last time that, I don't know the last time that the Denver Broncos were able to win in those circumstances, but it was something they hadn't pulled off since 2013, I think. Either way, they were able to come back, and yeah, man, they haven't done that but one other time. They were like 112-1 or something like that in games where they were down by at least 14 points in the fourth quarter, and somehow, some way, Bo Nix made multiple franchise quarterback level throws in this one. I thought Bo Nix was absolutely incredible. I just want to go ahead and make sure that there are no technical difficulties here. All right, looks like that is all good. Brilliant. Bo Nix in that fourth quarter was 9 for 10 passing, threw a touchdown, got the Broncos in multiple scoring positions. All three fourth quarter drives that Bo Nix and this Broncos offense had ended up in scores. We got Devin in the house saying, shout out Sean for going for that 2-point conversion. That ended up being a massive difference in the game, because if they had not gone for that 2-point conversion, Philly could have gone down on that final drive right there, and they could have kicked a field goal. They were in field goal range, but field goal didn't do them any good because they were down by 4 points in that situation. So going for 2 in that situation, it made me a little bit nervous, but ultimately the results were what you were looking for right there, and it ended up being a big-time play in this game. I also thought Sean Payton's play calling today was very strong. In the first half, the execution, it just wasn't there. Either guys weren't getting open, or Bo Nix was missing them, or guys were dropping passes. That was really frustrating in the first half, and it lingered into the second half as well. You also had some penalties, some of which were of the questionable variety. I want to go ahead and see the penalty yardage here. So the Broncos, they had 12 penalties for 121 yards in this game, and the Philadelphia Eagles had 9 penalties for 55 yards in this one. Some of the calls, I mean, I'm not normally one who blames refs or anything like that, but it did feel like some of those calls kind of went against the Denver Broncos, and they were going in favor of the Philadelphia Eagles. You think about that pass interference on Pat Surtain, and then there was another pass interference after that, I believe, on Riley Moss, and they just weren't called fairly. Then there was a flag that was picked up on the other side of the ball. Again, I don't know if those would have been called if it weren't going against the defending Super Bowl champs like that. Right now, we've got the Chargers and Commanders. We need the Commanders to get their stuff in gear here. There's my guy, Bill Krosky-Merritt. Let's go. He's got a nice big gain out of the Wildcat there. But right now, Chargers are leading 10-0, so that's not what we want to see in the AFC West. But regardless, man, what this win was able to do, not only for the momentum of this Denver Broncos team, but just for the momentum of the AFC West, the Chargers had a pretty commanding lead. Now, obviously, even if the Chargers lose this game, they're still going to be in first place, but still, this is a big-time opportunity here for the Denver Broncos. We got Dan saying the flags have been problematic for 5 straight games. Last week, they had a rookie ref. They had an inexperienced crew, and I think it showed. This week, it was a veteran ref, Adrian Hill, so that excuse isn't valid this time. I felt that overall some of the flags were just ticky-tack, but there were some situations where the Broncos got grabby when they shouldn't have. They had a couple of really frustrating pre-snap penalties, but they were able to overcome those penalties, especially in the fourth quarter. I cannot even stress how good Bo Nix played in that fourth quarter. He made multiple throws to convert third down and longs. Again, all 3 drives for Bo Nix and the Broncos offense in the fourth quarter led to points. He was clutch. He played like a franchise quarterback in that fourth quarter. And Washington just scored. Was it my guy Bill? I think it was my guy Bill. Let's go. Bill Krosky-Merritt. Got to scout him and got to interview him down at the Shrine Bowl. That was awesome. Forced fumble on Quentin Johnston. And then sure enough, it's my guy, Bill Krosky-Merritt in the end zone. Let's freaking go, baby. I want Bo to really build off of this, put together multiple consistent games. I completely agree with that. And for the first 3 quarters, we saw some inconsistencies from Bo. He had happy feet, wasn't getting set, was missing open receivers. But in the second half, especially in that fourth quarter, he clutched up. Bo Nix has clutched up a couple of separate times now. The last time I can really think of was, well, Cincinnati. He clutched up against Cincinnati, but Kansas City last year led them down for what should have been a game-winning field goal. That was the last time that we saw Bo Nix clutch up at that level. He was absolutely incredible. We got Eric McKinney in the house saying, "Go Broncos, baby." That was such a good win, man. That was such a good win. YouTube does say that these virtual live streams from your phone bring more interaction, so we might just keep doing these here for the pre- and post-game stream if that ends up being the case, and I don't think we're having any connection issues so far. Chat, let me know if we're having any connection issues because StreamYard was just being an absolute a-hole today. We got Gabe Rocks in the house saying, "So glad we got to celebrate in the chat this time instead of heartbreak." Damn straight, man. It felt good. Last time I got to stream a Broncos win was Week 12 against the Raiders, and I don't think that I've gotten to stream a Broncos win this big since Sean Payton took over. Okay, no, that's not true. Buffalo in 23. That was the last time the Broncos had a win of this magnitude on the road, and I got to actually stream it and be happy at the end. It was absolutely awesome. Trump's your daddy, good Lord. Oh, man. We says Broncos trash, go Steelers. So good to know that you've got some questionable opinions in a couple of different areas there. Hey, from Canada, good to see you on a short week too. Absolutely, man. Short week, absolutely incredible to get that win. This Broncos team, they played their ass off. They really did. And Sean Payton talked about how at halftime he said that they just weren't playing their brand of football. They came into this game with a clear goal. They wanted to win. They didn't just want to go in there and play good and have a moral victory at the end and still have a loss. Screw that. They wanted to win, and they weren't playing like they wanted to win in the first 3 quarters. But at halftime, Sean Payton said he tried to instill that in them. He instilled it in them again in the fourth quarter, and the Broncos were able to rally. But that 2-point conversion, I cannot stress enough how big that 2-point conversion was. I mean, being able to convert that and putting the Eagles in that situation at the end where they had to go downfield and get a touchdown with no timeouts, absolutely huge. We're saying that's the turning point of the season. Mr. Memester in the house saying, "Go Broncos." We in shorts format for this one. I don't know if it's streaming as a short. I think this still streams as a normal stream, or at least I hope it does for monetization reasons. But I decided to eliminate StreamYard from the equation because they were being so bad. Even during the pressers, StreamYard was being a you-know-what. So hopefully the stream is nice and stable here with the short format. Again, I'm also watching this Chargers and Commanders game here at the same time. Ooh, nice missed tackle in the backfield. Almost had him, but able to get away. Omarion Hampton. I'm honestly surprised we beat the Eagles without Dre Greenlaw, says Devin. I mean, that just goes to show how resilient this team is, especially on defense. They got multiple stops in the red zone, which was huge. I mean, absolutely huge. Only let Philadelphia break free for 2 touchdowns plus a field goal in this one. John Parham says, "I called the upset." I did too, actually. I got the score off by 1 point. I said 20-17. Denver was going to win it on a walk-off field goal, but I got it pretty close. We still technically won it on that Will Lutz field goal to make it 4 points. And then a big stop right there at the end. The missed pass interference call on J.L. Skinner, I believe it was, or no, was it Riley Moss there at the end? That was kind of a ball don't lie situation. The Broncos had several bad calls go against them in this one, so boo-hoo Philadelphia, cry me a river. Try to use use as little recency bias as possible. Which one was bigger? This one or the Colts game last year? I'm going to say the Colts game last year only because that one, since you won that game, it basically put you in position to make the playoffs. And it basically eliminated Indy from the playoffs. So for what was on the line with that game, I'd say that one was bigger. But the fact that this one was on the road against a really good caliber opponent, the defending Super Bowl champions, I'd say this is up there pretty close. You could also make an argument that this passes it. But again, since that win against the Colts last year put us in position to make the playoffs, I would say that one. John said 23-20. Yep, John's also saying that Colts win. Dan says comeback wins are the sweetest. Indeed. They feel so good, man. And we were all frustrated with how this game was going for the first 3 quarters, but they found a way to turn it around and get it done in that fourth quarter. I think the Broncos should have ran the ball more in the first half. JK was running well. Yeah, they could have, but I mean, they got it done and they were able to run the ball in the fourth quarter when it mattered most. It's not how you start, it's how you finish. We can have some criticisms about the play calling. I thought that Sean Payton in the first half put multiple guys in position to succeed. Bo Nix wasn't hitting them, or the receivers were dropping the ball, whatever the case may be. I can understand the argument of wanting to run, but the fact is, we found a way to win this game. And the Denver Broncos of last year, they don't find a way to win this game. We talked about that in the game stream, how the Broncos, by the fourth quarter, probably would have flopped over and died. They didn't do that this year. They stayed disciplined, and they knew they were still in it. They never operated under the assumption that Philadelphia was going to pull away. They knew that if they kept it close, they had an opportunity to sneak back in, and sure enough, they did. Law Dog in the house saying, I still can't believe it. Memester says, this might be the turning point of the season. I see a 6 to 8 game win streak. It's very possible, man. Especially the caliber of opponents that we have coming up. I think the Broncos could win multiple games here going forward. Maverick says, we finally won a close game on the road. Did I see the post-game locker room? They broke out Club Dub. I did. I also saw Sean Payton's speech afterwards to the team. Really good to see that side of Sean. The Broncos, they normally don't let cameras into the locker room, so the fact that we got that was actually pretty surprising, but a really cool moment. Roan says, you know what's crazy? I forgot the game was on, so I turned the game on, and it was the fourth quarter. What happened before that? Denver's offense really struggled to move the ball. Like I said, we were dealing with some penalties. Bo Nix was missing some throws. There were some drops in there. So Denver could barely muster anything on offense for the first 3 quarters. They only mustered 3 points, but in that fourth quarter, they turned it around. Bo clutched up, especially on third down, and made some elite, special, franchise quarterback caliber throws. That fourth quarter performance from Bo Nix is something that he can really hang his hat on long term and say, there it is. That is my signature performance of my career. It was awesome. It was really awesome to see. Bo needs more time in the pocket. I would agree with that to an extent, but I'd say overall the Denver Broncos won the battle of the trenches today, and Sean Payton said the same thing. Birdfather says, great comeback. Denver Unicorn Hater in the house. How you doing, Zigzag? John Parham says, Broncos a problem in 2 years for sure. They'll be a team to beat from that division. I don't know, man. If they can keep playing like this for the rest of the season, they might even make some noise this year. Chargers, it's the 2-minute warning, and they lead by 3, and they are driving right now against the Washington Commanders. They are at their own 46-yard line, so we'll see what happens if they can get a score before halftime. We're obviously rooting pretty hard for the Washington Commanders in this game, and that was a pretty nice tackle right there. Was that Daron Payne in there? It sure was. Bo Nix is not taking you to the promised land. Hey, man, the Philadelphia Eagles kicked your ass with Jalen Hurts at quarterback, and Hurts is a good quarterback, but he's not that upper tier of quarterback, so any quarterback can win the Super Bowl. Well, not any quarterback, but any decent quarterback can win the Super Bowl if they have a good team around them. We need to consider playing Barron more. Riley is good, but too many yards given up. Barron's made some good plays out of the slot, so if we're going to play him, I'd rather play him in the slot and maybe give him some reps over Jaquan, but that's tough because Jaquan's made some really nice plays as well. Had that clutch sack on Jalen Hurts. Riley Moss is going to be under the spotlight a ton because he gets targeted. I don't think there are very many plays on tape where he's so out of position that he's getting beat so bad. And watching the rallies and tackles right there on 3rd down and 14, they're going to get the ball back. Good stop by them. Riley Moss, that play where Devontae Smith just flat out burned him, that was one where not many guys are going to be able to keep up with Smith straight line vertically. He was in good position initially, but he just wasn't able to finish there. He's not able to keep up with him vertically. So I understand the frustrations with Riley, but I will still be very quick to defend him. The Texans smoked the Ravens. Yes, they did. Will the Broncos have cap to spend this coming offseason? They sure will. The Russell Wilson money is going to be completely off the books. So they are indeed going to have some money to spend. Sean Payton, that was a really great game that he called. The play calling tightened up. Great day in Broncos country, says Marcus and Christine. Hope you guys are doing well. Orange and blue don't go together, the ugliest colors in football. I disagree with that. I think our color scheme's fine. If the only thing you can find to pick on here is our color scheme, dude, then you don't really have much that you can complain about. Broncos better not discount the Jets next week. I don't think they will, but let's not kid ourselves. The New York Jets are freaking terrible. They're awful. They're not good. They're not even slightly good. They're a really bad football team that the Denver Broncos should beat by multiple scores. Of course, it's the any given Sunday effect, but this Jets team is putrid. I mean, horribly coached, not disciplined. Their defense sucks. Their offense sucks. Their quarterback isn't good. Their best quarterback on the roster is sitting on the bench. Yes, you heard me right. Tyrod Taylor is better than Justin Fields. So for me, man, until this Jets team gives me some reason to have any resemblance of confidence in them, I'm going to assume that the Denver Broncos go in there and kick their ass, because that's what they should do. The Broncos have rolled past the point now where they have to worry about not beating teams that they should beat. They should beat this team, and they should beat this Jets team by multiple scores. But I am not going to focus on that today. 24-hour rule. We're coming off of arguably our biggest win of the entire season. So we can look forward to the Jets, but I'm just going to enjoy this Eagles win because that was such an awesome win. Can't take the Jets lightly at all, but next week should be an easy win. I mean, if the Broncos play their brand of football the way that we know they can play, it should be a blowout. But we're going to not look towards that game right now because this is a game that we really need to enjoy because it is our biggest win of the season. Bo Nix needs to hit his deep balls now. It's all about his mechanics, man. He's got to improve his mechanics. That's more of an off-season thing than an in-season thing. I'm hoping this coming off-season, now that he's mastered the playbook from a mental perspective, he can focus on correcting some things physically, and footwork and mechanics being one of them in order to improve his deep ball accuracy. What's up, bro? How about them Broncos? Good to see you, King Jr. Hope you are doing well. Mr. Flintstone says, thoughts on the Cowboys coming to Denver? I do worry a bit about their offense. Dak Prescott is playing some really good football right now, but their defense is trash, and I mean trash. They got lucky today because they got to play the New York Jets, but I think the Denver Broncos should beat the Dallas Cowboys. It's in Denver. The Broncos, knock on wood, they don't usually lose to the Dallas Cowboys. In fact, they haven't lost to the Dallas Cowboys in my lifetime. I think I'd be a little bit broken, honestly, if the Denver Broncos lost to the Cowboys. I've been a lifelong Cowboys hater. I grew up in southern New Mexico where you're either a Cowboys fan, a Steelers fan, a Raiders fan, or a Broncos fan, and I've always had that bitter hatred towards the Cowboys, so I think I'd be kind of messed up down at the core if the Denver Broncos lost to the Dallas Cowboys. Pittsburgh Steelers got 6. I mean, the Pittsburgh Steelers, I'm excited to watch him this year, man. I think Aaron Rodgers is playing some really good football. I'm glad we don't play him this year. The Evan Ingram sighting today was great. It was good to see Ingram get more involved. I'd like to see more from Evan Ingram in these games, but it was good to see him involved. Trying to hit Zach Ertz there. Jaden Daniels, that's incomplete. Minute 32 left. Washington is down by 7. Again, we're closely watching this game because it's got implications for AFC West standings if the Chargers lose. Yes, he did make some progress today, which was very good to see. And there were just some more design plays to get him open. You like to see that. And then Bo Nix got him one that was really nice. And then Jaden Daniels, he goes down. Chargers defense completely swallowed him up right there. And that's going to bring up a third down. Evan Ingram's stats on the day, I can tell you right here. Ingram had 4 catches for 33 yards and a touchdown. The touchdown was nice, being able to fight for the yardage and dive in there. So that was really good to see. Just get him involved. We talked about in the chat in the game stream how if we're being honest, Evan Ingram isn't really a joker, but he can be a nice weapon for this team. And down the middle, incomplete, looking for Deebo Samuel on 3rd and 15. That brings up 4th down and a Commander's punt. 50 seconds and 1 timeout for the Chargers to work with before halftime here. I know, I can't believe it's already week 5. That's crazy. And now the Denver Broncos head to London. That's going to be a tough challenge in terms of going overseas and contending with all the stuff that comes with that. God damn it. And they're going to be away for the entire week, so they're not flying back to Denver. The Broncos requested it that way, that they had an East Coast game before going to London. So they're going to be flying out, I believe, immediately and heading straight to London. They're going to be staying out there all week. Sean Payton said they're going to be out in the middle of nowhere. There will be no sightseeing for the Denver Broncos. This is a business trip. Lad McConkey with a big return. McConkey's still going. McConkey's going to take this all the way, but there is a flag. I think this is coming back. Big punt return touchdown for McConkey, but I don't think it's going to count. Let's see what this flag is. Tress Way, the punter, gets gimpy. He was punting it from his end zone right there. It nearly got blocked. Looks like running into the kicker. All right, so let's see what that is. Again, watching that game very closely. Cortland Sutton was 1 yard away from getting 100 receiving yards today. 8 catches for 99 yards. Troy Franklin had 3 catches for 34 yards. Ingram, 4 for 33 and a touchdown. R.J. Harvey, 3 catches for 18 yards. Tyler Bidet, 1 catch for 16 yards. A big screen. I believe that was on one of their fourth quarter drives. They needed that. They got it, and that's what really jump-started that drive. Trent Sherfield had a catch for 15 yards. Troutman had a catch for 11 yards. That was another big third down conversion, if I'm not mistaken. And then J.K. Dobbins had 1 catch for 5 yards. Dobbins on the ground, 20 carries, 79 yards, 4 yards per carry, and 1 touchdown. Solid production from him. Bo Nix did not have the greatest first half. He was just 10 for 21 through the air, but in the second half, he clutched up and finished the day 24 for 39, 242 yards, 6.2 yards per attempt, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. That big play in the fourth quarter. Again, man, Bo Nix in the fourth quarter was awesome. He clutched up, and he played like a franchise quarterback. All right, guys, we're going to probably start winding this stream down here so that way we can get some content out. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Before we get out of here, if you could just do me a big favor and smash the like button on this stream as well as subscribe to the channel, I would really appreciate it, guys. Those are both free and easy ways to show your support. Helps tell YouTube's algorithm to push us out, and it helps us get seen by more and more members of Broncos country just like you and me. Additionally, if you guys want to go above and beyond in supporting the channel, please consider becoming a channel member today. I would really appreciate it. It's not mandatory whatsoever, but if you want some extra perks and incentives in exchange for helping me out and helping the channel grow, I would really appreciate if you would consider it. Again, the link is in the description below. All right, guys, and until next time, I'm your host, Gage Madrid, saying peace out.